Panel number two, we're going to focus on the challenges of pivoting into quantum. So we want to tease out ways to inspire others to enter the quantum world and thrive with guidance on how to pivot and how to be successful applying quantum in your business. What inspired you to enter the quantum world? What helped you to be successful on that journey?
This is a great question, Chris, really, and I'm thrilled to answer this. And it's actually a question that I get quite often, probably because of my background. The thing is, I have always been fascinated about quantum mechanics. And as an industrial engineer, we didn't get very much into the details. So that curiosity inspired me to learn more and to take courses at different institutions, for example, MIT X-Pro. And I also think a lot about, as an engineer, about how can we find an intersection of these physics properties with something we can actually leverage upon. And this is where computing came into the picture. And it's been pretty much a journey of learning and knowing amazing people along the way.
As opposed to Esperanza, my journey is very different. It's, my background is a completely non-technical background, being in marketing and advertising. And actually, I initially started hearing about quantum for the first time from documentaries on a platform called Gaia, addressing primarily the topic of consciousness, but also intersecting it with the quantum field theory. So this was what caught my eye about quantum. And then I started researching to try and understand more and how does it intersect with our day-to-day world. And it actually started making much more sense when I randomly came across the articles that Esperanza wrote on LinkedIn, explaining.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
That's why I said it's a brilliant transition, actually.
Mine is almost a blend of both Esperanza's and Mihaela's paths, where, like Esperanza, I started learning about quantum mechanics and I was just hooked. And like Mihaela, I have a very non-traditional background. So as I was looking at how I could move into quantum mechanics while also staying business-oriented, I was very fortunate. I ran across quantum computing and it was a perfect match. So that's what got me into this space. And what really helped me get to the point where I'm at, what I would encourage all of our listeners to do, is think about your really strong personality traits and think about things that you just love doing. And then find ways to leverage those so that you can move into this space. So for me, a couple of key personality traits were networking. I really love getting to know people. So I was very fortunate I got to join Matt Versaggi and David Radcliffe and taking on a leadership role with the Minnesota Quantum Computing Meetup. And when I offered to them, like, I could help you, and specifically, I can help you with cold calling. I'm comfortable doing that cold outreach and finding speakers to bring in. And I also really love finding ways to get to know people. And with getting to know people, you can figure out how to be of service to them and how to help them. So once you've got that baseline hook, your why, look at your personality strengths and then figure out how to use those to help you get further into the space.
Yeah, and I would even expand on that. Again, this is sort of a personal mantra of mine that, with all due respect, you don't have to be a particle physicist to work in quantum, right? So there's a whole adjacent constellation of skills that are needed to make this technology understandable and adaptable.
It's real about exploring the intersection of quantum computing and change management, and hopefully contributing to businesses and everyone in the community, and particularly leaders or business leaders, to move forward into this realm and making quantum computing a reality.
Very excited about breaking down the barriers for people to understand how quantum can help them in industries that maybe are not yet talked about. And I'm very happy that Amrita mentioned customer targeting algorithms, because marketing has not yet been approached extensively in this field.
Excited to talk with people in this space and get a better understanding of what are their hurdles to picking up quantum computing, because it's extremely complex and it can be hard to navigate, especially, Chris, as you mentioned, if you don't have a traditional science background. So I'm very excited about talking to people and understanding how we can better serve them. And to that end, we have 3 fantastic articles that we just released on our website. The first one is written by Matt. It's about educating quantum workforce for industry, and it covers the strategy, pedagogy, and learnings that he's gone through with Optum.
Great.
And we also have a joint article from Brian and I about how to assess the hype and manage quantum expectations. So really, how do you get started and how do you navigate this field in a strategic way?
Cool.
And then the third article we have is from Joe, and it's about understanding the risk, impact, and threats of quantum computing on cryptography and cybersecurity. So we're going to have more of this content out there. We've already got 3 great pieces that are starting to help build roadmaps that people can follow.